Hola and welcome to ProSpanish, a quick and easy way to learn conversational Spanish. So we'll start off with a very straightforward Spanish phrase, which is useful in itself, but then this is going to be our springboard into a lot more language. And this is our phrase. Solo estoy mirando. Solo estoy mirando. I'm just looking. I'm just looking. And obviously this is a very useful phrase when you're in a shop or looking at the menu in a restaurant and you just want to say that you're not about to buy something, that you're just looking. Solo estoy mirando. I'm just looking. If this is your first Spanish lesson or your first ProSpanish lesson, you might want to write down that phrase. You don't have to. You might be able to just keep it in your head, but you might find it useful just to write down Solo estoy mirando. I'm just looking. And while this phrase is very, very useful, our primary aim here is not giving you set phrases and holiday phrases. We're going to take this apart, build it back up in lots of different ways. So, solo estoy mirando. Literally, solo is the just or only. You can see there the word solo, like only, alone. So just is solo or only. And then estoy mirando, I'm just looking. And the mirando has that kind of sound of looking, the ing at the end. So estoy mirando, I'm looking. Solo estoy mirando. Just I'm looking. So I'm just looking. Solo estoy mirando. Just practice that. Solo estoy mirando. Solo estoy mirando. Okay. So how would you say just by itself, I'm looking, without the just, I'm looking? What would that be? Estoy mirando. Estoy mirando. And if you want to say I'm not, as in I'm not looking, I'm not, we just put no, N-O, at the beginning to make it a negative, like no looking. So start off with no. How would you say I'm not looking? Just pause the video to give yourself some thinking time. No estoy mirando. No estoy mirando. No estoy mirando. What's the word that just means I am? Estoy. Estoy. So how would you just say I'm not? And it could be I'm not in Spain. I'm not angry, whatever it might be. So how would you just say I'm not? No estoy. No estoy. Okay, two new words. We're going to learn to say practicing and waiting. Practicing and waiting. Practicando, esperando. Practicando, esperando. Practicando, esperando. So fairly easy to work out which one is practicing. Practicando. And esperando is waiting. Esperando. So just repeat. Practicando, esperando. Practicando, esperando. How would you say, go back to our starter sentence. Can you remember how to say, I'm just looking? What was that? If you've written it down, you can have a quick look if you've forgotten. Solo estoy mirando. Solo estoy mirando. So how would you say, I'm just practicing? And just pause the video to give yourself some thinking time. I'm just practicing. What would that be? Solo estoy practicando. Solo estoy practicando. And how would you say I'm practicing without the just? I'm practicing. What would that be? Estoy practicando. Estoy practicando. How would you say I'm waiting? I'm waiting. What would that be? Estoy esperando. Estoy esperando. How would you say I'm not waiting? I'm not waiting. What would that be? No estoy esperando. No estoy esperando. How would you say I'm just waiting? I'm just waiting. What would that be? Solo estoy esperando. Solo estoy esperando. And you might know the word for Spanish. Spanish is español. Español. How would you say, I'm just practicing Spanish? I'm just practicing Spanish. What would that be? Solo estoy practicando español. Solo estoy practicando español. Now you may, if you've been to Spain or Latin America, you may know the word for the bill. The bill is la cuenta. La cuenta. La cuenta. How would you say I'm waiting for the bill? I'm waiting for the bill. Now in Spanish, with waiting, we don't need to say the for. The for is included in the esperando. So you don't need to say, it helps to think of it as awaiting. I'm awaiting the bill. I'm awaiting the bill. And that way you don't need to think about putting in the word for, waiting for. So there's no for in there. We're just saying, I'm awaiting the bill. How would you say that? Estoy esperando la cuenta. Estoy esperando la cuenta. And of course, that's also useful practical Spanish, because sometimes you may be at the bar waiting to pay and they may think that you're waiting to order. So if you just say, I'm waiting for the bill. Estoy esperando la cuenta. Estoy esperando la cuenta. So before we continue, let's just recap what we've got. We started off with the sentence, solo estoy mirando. I'm just looking. I'm just looking. We said we could make a negative with no. No estoy mirando. I'm not looking. We learnt practicando, esperando. Practicing and waiting. So we could say, estoy esperando. I'm waiting. We said that esperando is waiting or awaiting, so that you don't have to say waiting for. You can say, I'm awaiting something. You don't need the word for in there. So, I'm waiting for the bill. I'm awaiting the bill. Estoy esperando la cuenta. And it could be anything. It could be, estoy esperando la comida. I'm waiting for the food. Estoy esperando mi café. I'm waiting for my coffee. Okay, and while that sinks in, I'll mention the ProSpanish Levels 1 to 6 course. And if you're serious about becoming conversational in Spanish, then you need a course that will progressively take you from 0 or near 0, giving you the building blocks up to a conversational level of Spanish. And that's what this Levels 1 to 6 course does. And it's available for download at prospanish.co.uk. Okay, so back to the lesson. The word for tired, if you're tired, is cansado. Cansado, cansado. Tired, cansado. Repeat that. Cansado, cansado. Tired, cansado, cansado. Not to be confused with casado. If you take the letter N out and say casado, casado doesn't mean tired, it means married. So you don't want to mix the two up, or you might, I don't know. So cansado is tired, but casado is married. And one way to remember that casado is married is take the first part of the word casa. Casa is house or home. So perhaps imagine that when you're married, you live in the same home, in the casa, casado. Okay, so casado, married, but cansado, tired. So how would you say, perhaps if somebody asks if you're okay and you want to say, I'm just tired. How would you say that? I'm just tired. And try not to say I'm just married. Okay, I'm just tired. What would that be? Solo estoy cansado. Solo estoy cansado. Okay, just for fun, let's do I'm just married as well. I'm just married. What would that be? Solo estoy casado. Solo estoy casado. And if you are a woman, a girl or a woman, saying this, then instead of casado and cansado, it needs to end in an A to indicate feminine. So you would say cansada or casada. Estoy cansada or estoy casada if you're female saying it. Okay, how would you say I'm not tired? I'm not tired. No estoy cansado. No estoy cansado. And how would you say I'm not married? I'm not married. What would that be? No estoy casado o casada. No estoy casado. Okay, so we've had I am. What was I am again? Estoy. Estoy. And you are, or are you, the statement, the question is the same in Spanish. So you are, or are you, is estás. Estás. And you'll come to learn that whenever a verb is referring to you, it's you, there's always an S. There's always an S there in the ending. So, estás is you are or are you. How would you ask the question, are you tired? Are you tired? ¿Estás cansado? ¿Estás cansado? And if you're asking a woman or a girl, ¿estás cansada? ¿Estás cansada? And how about if you want to ask somebody if they're married? Could be useful. ¿Estás casado? ¿Estás casado? Or asking a woman, ¿estás casada? ¿Estás casada? How would you ask, are you waiting? Are you waiting? What would that be? ¿Estás esperando? ¿Estás esperando? And you could say, no, no estoy esperando. Solo estoy mirando. No estoy esperando. Solo estoy mirando. Not waiting. I'm just looking. And that concludes today's lesson. As mentioned before, if you're serious about learning Spanish, you need a course that is progressive. These YouTube lessons are standalone classes, and whether you use the ProSpanish course or a different course, the key is a progression which will take you from the bottom right up to to a conversational level. And the ProSpanish levels 1 to 6 is available at prospanish.co.uk.